Good morning, gardeners. I am back after a nice 10-day vacation, and so I immediately came running back to see how things were doing on my screen porch. And I decided, since the phals seem to have the most activity going on right now, that I would focus only on them today. Although there are some other things happening with some other plants, but I'll save that for another day. So let me start with the 3 that are in the Repot Me plastic pots here, and I'm going to start with the one on the bottom rack. They all hang together in a 3, let me just pan over there, in a 3 tiered thing, and who's ever on the bottom gets some drip from the ones above, and it doesn't get as much sun, so I rotate them because I know it's not the healthiest of the spots, and I haven't been good at rotating them. So this guy's been down there a while, so he's a little behind everybody else in what's going on. His last new leaf is big. He hasn't had a new leaf too recently, but I just noticed today he has this. Now I don't know if it's a root coming up, an aerial root, or if it's going to be, if I get that out of there, or if it's going to be, I have to move back to do that to be able to see it. It doesn't want to come. I don't force, so oh well. I don't know if that's going to be a new root or a bloom spike. I'm hoping a bloom spike, but considering that it's sort of bent a little bit down, it's probably a root. It kind of looks like one, doesn't it? But anyway, so he may need to get moved up a little. He's been in the worst spot for a while, but he still looks healthy. You know, he's okay. So, next to the one in the middle pot, and it's been a while since he's had his newest leaf. You can tell though how shiny and pretty it is that it's new, but it's grown to maturity. And his bloom spike has come up quite a bit from when I left on vacation. I just realized how dark it is down there. I hope that's not a bad sign. It seems okay. So maybe that's just some coloration. Actually, the other ones I think they color too. So here we go. These 3 phals in these plastic Repot Me pots are all white. And I think I've mentioned before that they were part of a funerary arrangement when my mother-in-law passed away, and they actually were in a basket with the bromeliads in the corner right there. All of them were together, and then I realized that they were in a little, like, for lack of a better word, like a little sock of moss, which was in soil with the bromeliads. So I said, oh, those aren't going to last long. So we didn't have that as a arrangement for very long before I pulled it apart and repotted these. And they were in clay pots, and they really weren't that happy in the clay pots, and they didn't do that much because she passed away in 2014, so it's been 5 years. But then about, I don't know, maybe 9 months ago, I changed to these pots, and they've been growing much better since. So they have bloomed though in the clay pots. They just didn't grow as much and as healthy. Okay, new leaf, real new leaf. I forget which one of these plants, the poor thing, I broke a leaf, but I can't even tell which one it is now, but its bloom spike is really getting there. In fact, I might want to stake it. I don't know. I kind of like the way they arch over, and you know, I do worry about them breaking without support because we're forcing them to kind of grow upright in these pots when that's not how nature would have them grow. I'll have to figure that out. But yes, it's a big bloom spike compared to the other two. Look, so excited. And it is dark at the bottom too a little bit, so that makes me not worry about phal number 2. So those are the 3 matching phals that came together. They all seem to be the same type. Let's look at the ones back there and the one back there. this one came to me as a gift, and it had these big purple leaves, and they were hanging way down, and they gave me instructions that the plant had been watered with an ice cube once a week or twice a week or something, which I knew doesn't work. But so I planted it up, and since then it has grown this leaf, then this leaf, now this leaf. So I'm pretty happy with that, and it seems to have a little aerial root there. I don't predict that it will have a bloom spike because it's basically making itself a whole new plant. Has anyone else ever had a phal do this? I've never experienced this. I don't want to just lop these off. They look like they're brown, but they're not. They're purple. And even the new leaves are kind of purple. And it is a purple, it did have purple flowers. So that looks kind of like a, if I could show you, a shiny new root right there. So I think it's kind of happy in its environment. It's outside. It was inside. Oh, here's something coming up. I knew I'd seen something. Sorry about the noise it makes. I think that may be a bloom spike because there's a root right there. And this is the same color as the leaf, where normally the roots are, you know, shiny or green and silvery. So I am thinking maybe that will be a bloom spike. After I just said it's not doing anything. I wish it wouldn't. I wish it would just take a rest and grow, but I can't wait for these to kind of die off because I think they look unsightly, but you know, I'm not going to trim something that's unsightly if it's beneficial to the plant. So that's the purple one. This belongs to somebody else. In fact, that's even her pot too. And she just didn't get enough light, and she's a very experienced, good gardener, better than me. But it just didn't work in her house, so I said I would take it home. But it, when I left, had these three things going on right here, and I was so hoping one was a bloom spike, but they all appear to be roots to me. Definitely roots. This one here was the one I was hoping, and these seem to look the same. However, since coming back from vacation, I see there's something new right here. And it kind of looks the same too. Although the position of it doesn't seem like it would be a root, but it looks like the other ones, so probably. But what happened was, this thing kind of fell over in the pot. In fact, today I put some more bark in here to try to hold things up. And I think what it did is it decided it needed new roots to anchor itself, which means I probably won't get a bloom spike out of it yet. Oh well. And there's one coming out here. So yeah, it was way more upright, but now it's, I'll show you, it is all sideways in the pot. But you know what? This is more to nature, to how they grow. And I don't have to worry as much about water pooling in the crowns. Because when I water them, I get the crowns all wet, and then I have to go dry them all out to avoid rot. So you can see it's all one-sided. And I put, like I said, a little bit of something in there today, a little bit more bark to try to hold it up, but I'm not going to fight it. It looks healthy, and it's putting out what appears to be 4 roots, so I'll leave her alone. Sorry, I keep forgetting that makes a horrible noise on video when you do that, when I drag things across this table. So that is the condition of my 5 phalaenopsis right now. Let's all cross our fingers that this one will send out a bloom spike, and I can send it home to its mama while it's blooming, and then I'll take it back when it quits blooming. And keep your fingers crossed for that bloom spike and that bloom spike, and that this one is a spike instead of a root. Thanks for watching my video. I hope that you like and subscribe to the channel, and good growing.